102, 103, 104, 105. Oh yeah, 106. Yo, that'll do. 106 reps of curls for what I think was my 106th set of curls on the balcony of gains. Well, maybe not. Just kicking in, hitting a few sneaky arms for the day, get a little pump on for this glorious Sunday out here. Talk to you humans about the deload, the glorious deload week. So I have just come off deload week. I went into this one absolutely toasted, which was the game plan. Mission accomplished. So then, typical deload week, what are we looking to do? We're looking to decay and get rid of all of that fatigue so I can come into next week super duper fresh. Some of the controls I like to put in place for me on that is I like to make sure I ensure to do the same amount of training days. So we hit 4 this week, which was nice. And then I let the barbell tell me what I can do for the week. And also prioritize looking after my knee and my little bit of shoulder stuff. So if there's any exercises in there that I need to do on a normal training week, we obviously do them then, but if I don't need to do them, then I don't do them. So sumo being one of them, that aggravates my knee when I do a lot of those. So sumo, goodbye. And we just made sure we looked after the shoulder for the training and prioritized some single leg stuff and some rehabby kind of stuff for the shoulder. Now, the concept of letting the barbell decide what to do. I like to come into those sessions without any plan of what I should lift. Not married to a number. I just know I want to move something that's relative to that session. If I wasn't so close to a comp, being that I really want to come in super fresh next week, I may have pushed a little bit heavier. However, I wanted to make sure the barbell told me what was there. I'm making sure I'm removing all of the things that get me hyped up and excited to move big weight. So music goes, chill that thing out a little bit. No stimulants, no Red Bulls, no pre-trainers, etc. And even my mindset, I'm not going into that session just thinking and dribbling about what I'm going to do that day. And which is a fun way to train, because then when done right, deload week typically is not going to be your strongest week. So if you come into that session not married to numbers, when you go to lift weights that all of a sudden start feeling a bit heavier than what they would normally, you don't feel sad. So as you'll see in this week, I only pulled 180. It was rough, it was tough. I probably could have done more, but I certainly didn't need to. Coming up next, we have 3 big training weeks. Another thing I like to do on the deload week is start thinking about the small stuff, the little details on this training block. Obviously, when we zoom out, I have a big picture plan of what I wanted to do a long time ago, and now we're here. I need to think about the little things that I want to do on this training block. We've got 3 weeks, a deload, then 2 weeks to go, and that's how it looks. So for me, thinking I don't need to do reps, I just need to pull really good quality singles on the deadies. I need to make sure I don't beat myself up. So I'll probably just pull the singles on the deadies and not do any more sumos. Maybe some very light pauses. I need to make sure I don't accumulate too much fatigue on each week on week. So I'm just coming in fresh and ready and hungry to lift weights. The squat day, I will say my shoulder's getting a little beat up with the low bar work I've been doing. So whilst I was considering pushing that along, I will remove the low bar and switch to a bent/camber bar as my main squat movement. For that one, I am considering thinking about putting some chains on the bar because I really want to work on my power. I want to be forceful, really good at moving weight fast and using all of my muscles to do so. I am playing with the idea of a second pull on the Saturday. Unfortunately, that won't be sumo because that will bust my knee up, but I do feel like I can do some banded conventional deadies on that Saturday so I can work on speed off the floor and aggression with the barbell. And some bench, yeah, we'll keep pressing. We'll do lots of pressing, keep pushing that overhead. I might play with a sitting military press, go a little old school on that. And anyway, check out the little deload week. Let's have a little looky-loo. Welcome to the Mecca on Sunny Coast.
This is Muscle Hut, Kawana, I think is the location up here on Sunshine Coast. This gym is sick. Scotty Hipwell, the owner of this glorious establishment, literally has everything. Every piece of equipment to cover every possible angle of developing and building muscles in this thing. He's got all the powerlifting gear, all the bodybuilding gear. It is huge. It is cool. So we had a little road trip training session. We're up the coast with the lovely family to go check out a little venue for nationals coming up, which we did the day before. And then we thought we'd pop on down to Muscle Hut to have a little family lifty. And one of the things I wanted to say, how fucking cool is it to be able to do the thing that you really love doing with somebody else who really loves doing it and just also happens to be your partner, aka my wife, aka bro, Jay Lee. Super cool, such a privilege. We both enjoy going to the gym, we both enjoy lifting the things, and currently her training program, her coach, has got her doing stuff similar to me. Oh, that's me, the coach. So today's little deload sesh, we're up the coast, like we said, at Muscle Hut. We went for a bit of a heavy single because we didn't have a lot of time on our hands to train, so we just worked up to a heavy single. I got 130. Jay Lee's got 60 on there. Doesn't take too long to rip through a heavy single. And then we just took advantage of all the cool machines in this gym. I personally haven't stepped foot in a bit more of a commercial gym in a very long time, so I haven't had the pleasure of playing on so many cool things. So we thought we'd rip into it. Jay Lee here, she's got 60 kilos on the bench, setting herself up there. That's her sitting around her equal best. So cool that she can hit that just any day of the week now. Let's go, bro. The amazing Coach Kendra sitting off to the side. You can't see her. She's watching on. Let's go. Down and up. Promise I'm not helping. She's doing it. All her. That's cool. Now, after this, we hit a little bit of back down work. As you can see, I've got 110 loaded on there. For me personally, it's kind of cool to be able to hit 130 on the bench. Way less than I've ever done before, but I haven't been training the bench as we know. I've just been training my overheads. I do feel like my shoulder strength is there. I do feel a lot more stable in my shoulder, and my shoulder isn't as beat up from benching. So that's a good thing. So I do know if we wanted to throw a bench press in there next year for a 3-lift comp, I'm reasonably confident if we trained it up, we should be able to sneak a little bit of a PB in there. Here we go. Being mindful that it is deload week 2, so I'm a little bit tired, a little bit flat, so we aren't going to be cranking and moving the weights as quick as we would on a peak or a strong week. The other thing I like to do for a deload week is obviously put some controls in place so we can't go too hard. No wrist wraps, no belts, just a bit of a no fuss sesh. Good. Happy with that. 5s, no big deal. Not overreaching or anything, just hitting what's there for the day. Just let the barbell decide what we're going to do. Now, let's check out some cool toys. Plate loaded fly machine. This thing was sick. Didn't have a lot of weight in there, although to be honest, I don't know what a lot of weight for this machine is. 4 or 5 plates, surely that's not a lot, but I can say I got a great little pump out of this. And because it's one of those things we don't do at all, because I don't have one of these machines, I pulled up freaking sore the next day. So that's cool. Coming on over, pull over machine. This thing was rad to play with. Great camera work here from Bro J Lee. Getting all the epic facial expressions on my face. And then we trained a little bit of arms and we went to the beach with Coach Kendra. Righto. Deload week deadlift session. Like I said, sumo is out because it bangs my knee up if I do too many, and I want to go into next week with a nice knee feeling good. So we just hit conventionals. I let the barbell decide what's going to be the right weight, and here we go. 180. No, 140, not 180. That's a warm-up right there. Hitting those warm-ups, I'm starting to think about what the right weight is for the sesh, and 180 is the right weight. I didn't really feel like I needed any more. Hi Pete, how you doing? No belt as we know, because again I'm taking some controls into that session, not wearing the toys, to be able to make things easy for me.
Okay, well we're 40 seconds in.
I am thinking about pushing through the legs, getting my back nice and tight. Still trying to think out the things that are important for my deadlift next week when we're nice and heavy. But at the same time, on deload week, we just want to have some fun. So as you can see, that ain't moving fast at all. Best conventional dead's about 272. It's almost 100 kilos more than what's on there. It ain't moving fast, so that just shows how toasted I am. But that's okay. I'm not married to numbers. I'm not upset or disappointed that I can't lift big. Coach Kendra told me to do more reps. I'm just saying I'm only going to do one. That's more than enough. Here we go. Nice tension through the shoulders, concentrating on pushing. Even though I am doing conventional here and not sumo, I can still use some of the things that I need to think about from my sumo lifting into my conventional. For me, that is that tension, locking those shoulders in place and pushing through the ground to move the weight with those legs in line. We hit another 180. So just hitting 3 top sets, very similar to how I would train on a peak or a strong week with 3 top sets. That's the game plan next week as well. However, obviously managing the weights on the bar. For the rest of the sesh, I am feeling beat up, I am feeling tired, so we are just gonna get real fluffy on the accessories. I'm literally taking all the weight out of everything. The goal is just to move, get some blood flow through the body, get everything feeling good. Here we go. You can see I'm concentrating hard on the push. Straight up, good, happy days. One of my favorite exercises to help work on push is that pause deadlift. 140. Just hit a few reps here. I know I don't need to do too many because we are trying to get fresh for the deload week here. I'm starting to think about what I want to do for my accessories after this. The other big thing I think that's important for a deload week is trying to just simply reduce the time you put in the gym. You spend so much time in this gym, particularly when we get so close to comps. It's a great opportunity just to spend a little bit less time at the gym. The balcony gains is out in place. I've come up with a new exercise. It is called a foot-on barbecue dumbbell pullover. It is the new ultimate chest exercise. It does require for you to have a barbecue and for your gym to be on your balcony. But on a serious note, mate, as we know, this balcony sesh, this is an easy way for me to get another session in for the week. I train for about 30 to 40 minutes. We just superset my way through everything, concentrating on this sesh just on a nice upper body pump. I started this sesh with some ring dips over there, a couple of chin ups here. We're hitting those pullovers. We're going to superset into a dumbbell row. Now, a concept I like to constantly talk about with training is don't necessarily marry yourself to a certain amount of training days per week. E.g., too often we'll be thinking, okay, I need to train 4 days a week. If I can't commit to training 4 days a week, I'll just do 3 days a week every week. What if you did commit to 3 days training a week? However, when the time was there, you would do a 4th day or a 5th day. Because then in the big picture, if you did, let's say, 4th day every 2 weeks, that'd give you 26 more sessions for the year. Same if you did a 5th day, some weeks as well if you're a 4-day-a-week person. I think it's a really cool concept to train. We're building and training programs. Obviously that extra day is just extra bonus stuff. You're not putting stuff in there that's super important that needs to be done every day. And it's also a good opportunity to addition some stuff you need to do a little bit more of. Just trying to push the pace here, work a little bit of conditioning on this session for me as well. I'm reducing those rest periods to as little as possible so I can just get through that session nice and quick, plus getting the old heart rate up a little bit so I'm not an unfit fat power lifter. I want to have some good cardiovascular health at the end of this. Good, I'm happy with that. Now, the most underrated, underdone exercise that anyone can do at any point in time, the push-up. Anyone can do a push-up anytime. This is the thing, if you are looking to add some more training in at home, get a bit more bench work in, drop down on the floor and hit some push-ups. This is an exercise, if you consistently committed to doing some of these every single day or after all of your pressing sessions, I guarantee your bench would go through the roof. For me, I'm adding a little superset core work. You can see I'm doing a little, let's call it tripod plank maybe. Doing a little leg lift, concentrate on keeping my hips square. So we're doubling down for some core work. Again, that's something you could be doing at home every single day. Yeah, get to train with bro. She's deloading as well. We're just working up for something that feels and looks good. We got 95 kilos on the bar. She nails it. Good lift, a little bit less than her best. We drop her back for a whole bunch of singles and then some reps. She's cruising. Here we go, fun sesh. You got Mr. Aleshin training with us. He came in for a play with the Saturday afternoon crew. We're using this sesh for him because he's also on a deload as an opportunity to practice some things as he comes into next week. For Alesh, we need to practice and work on his unrack, working on squatting it out of the rack. That's another good way you can spend a deload sesh, is working on the things you need to practice. So when you get into the heavy stuff, you are dialed in. 3 reds for Alesh, nothing to it, straight up. Really looking forward to see what he hits next week. He's coming on the Worlds tour with us over to Manchester. I feel like there is a big squat coming for him. Now for me, I'm starting to feel pretty good at the end of this week. The rule of the 3 red minimum in place. I've gone for a 205 today as my top single. Feeling reasonably fresh, so I'm feeling okay to push it a little bit here. See how everything's moving along. Set this thing up. Nice unrack. The cool thing for me, I will say, when I'm unracking it, it's not feeling heavy. The thing I'll make note of is due to the camera angle, look how fucking big Buddha is there on the left of me. Punch it in, straight up. Now, one thing I will say I'm a little bit unhappy with, did you see my left knee bobble a little bit? It did, and I'm not happy about it. It says, my stability in that left side still isn't at its best. So we threw some pauses in to work on that. We'll probably look to add that pause squat and keep that rolling on the next block. As I said, we're going to use the camber bar. Whoop! Missed it a lash. I was showing him how I did a bit of a chat around doing tight unracks and showing him how I like to set up for heavier squats. Lesh forgot the most important rule of being the gate person. Gotta hang on to the gate. Following lunatics like me, you get a little animated, get a bit fired up and push things around. That is only 2 reds, but again, I was just trying to show Nilesh how I like to set up an unrack for the squat. The big cue I like to say for squatting is squatting it out of the rack. When you get it right, and weight on your shoulders literally, I think, feels weightless. Good. I'm a little bit happy with these pauses. Left leg is coming along. It is feeling a lot stronger. As you saw on that 205, it's not quite there yet on the big stuff. So I do need to be hyper aware of that. Continue to work on that single leg stuff on this next 6 weeks so that you don't have any dramas, particularly with the sumo, because I will need a nice stable base to push those weights off the ground there. A little bit of a giggle, come on a lash. Gotta sort that gate out. And Kendra wanted to finish her session with some abs. Keeping up some cardio for myself, mate. I put in 11 minutes on the bike. I must say we've been doing this for a few weeks now. And this one, I didn't feel absolutely toast at the end of it, so my fitness is coming back and I'm feeling great. Thanks, crew. See you all soon.